Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad.
Well, hey there, family.
Oh, good day.
It's your mom and dad. Yes. Welcome.
Yes.
I'm already starting off insecure this episode.
Why are you insecure?
Hi, Lee, by the way. Hello, how are you?
Good day, sir.
I'm starting off insecure at the top just by saying the intro because you, sir, you, dad, got in my head the other day because you told me about the Millennial Pause. Have you heard of this, Lee?
Oh, recently, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Have you heard about this thing?
Yeah,
The
but
Millennial
it's, I was watching some TikTok the other day, and like the first comment was, "Oh my god, the Millennial Pause," which is just like what you stare at the camera for like. It's like that. Is this on? Oh, okay, ready.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
So check this out. So it was last week, and I just saw this person say the Millennial Pause, and I was like, "What the hell is the Millennial Pause?" And it's basically this, like, when you start recording a video and you go, okay. For me, you know, and like that whole thing.
and you
then
do that
Gen
moment.
Zers don't do that. They just go, today I want blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And where it comes from, I mean, this is some bro science. Who knows if this is real?
It's just like, wait, are we about to have like a
But where this
scientific
comes
analysis?
from is that us as millennials didn't have as good of technology when it came to like cameras and camera phones and stuff like that. So when we press record, it wouldn't start right away.
Oh my
Like you click it and then it would kind of just like go.
Mm-hmm.
So then you were used to going click and then kind of going, okay, it's starting. Hey guys, what's up?
That makes absolute sense. See, okay, but you told me this, and the second that he explained this to me, I realized I do this constantly. Like, I started going back on my Instagram videos, and now just at the top of that episode, the way that I paused and said, hey, family, just like the big pause. I'm like, now I'm in my head about this Millennial Pause. Now, make no mistake.
Yeah.
I am not ashamed of my age. Put some respect on my age. When I go out, I say I'm older. I like to add years. But now...
I'm a Gen Zer, so I don't know what you're talking about. And like, this is already kind of bothering me and annoying because you guys are old and
But now
weird.
it's going to be like one of those things where you're hyper aware of how much you say like or something like that.
Well, just on this podcast, I notice every time I'm going to say like a line, I go, okay, here's the deal.
You start to pick up. There's always the Millennial Pause. So now I'm going to think about it all the time. Like I said, I have no shame in my age game over here, but now it's just something I'm going to be hyper aware of. When I was recording an Instagram video the day after you told me this, I immediately did the Millennial Pause, and then I re-recorded it to attempt to not do the Millennial Pause.
Oh.
Almost impossible for me. Literally almost impossible.
I think it allows us millennials to I don't even think it's about the pause itself. I think it allows us to get our brain working.
Right.
I think Gen Zers are just faster.
Yeah.
From our old age.
Seriously, though. Like Gen Zers are just more like they're just
So
able
smart,
to jump
so
in
quick.
because
They've got bam,
I think
bam,
they were
bam, bam,
raised
bam.
with technology. The difference is like we were brought technology like halfway through our adolescence.
Yeah.
They didn't have to learn it. I think that Millennial Pause is us like learning technology.
Yeah, it takes a while to get the gears
We're
turning.
evolving. We're fully evolving. We're like, okay, when we were first born, we still had tapes, cassette tapes,
what I'm
and we didn't
saying.
have anything like that. I remember putting my floppy disks into my computer.
Because if you go backwards in time, boomers are looking at their phones going like this. Okay, well, what is this here?
Oh gosh, God bless.
Is this okay? No, I'm not getting. Is there something else? You know what I mean? And then we're the next one, which is just like, okay, hey everyone, and then the Gen Zers are just like,
perfect Millennial
it works.
Pause.
It's
perfect.
it's the evolution. Okay, I get this.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm still gonna be self-conscious about it though.
Oh, it's the way that I talk to. I'll just be hanging out with a friend and be like, okay, we need to go to this next restaurant. Like everything is a Millennial Pause for me. It's a Millennial Pause.
I pulled the definition up from Wikipedia. It says the Millennial Pause is a barely perceptible pause that is present at the start of some recorded videos. The practice of including such a pause is generally ascribed to millennials, a group often defined to include people born in the 1980s or 1990s. Nailed it.
I feel like that definition is the definition of when in 2,000 years they're discussing the Millennial Pause.
1,000%.
It's like they're collecting all the evidence. They're watching videos from 2,000 years ago, and they're going, the millennial pause. It's like they're like in a university.
Well, as the AI studies us,
yeah, the AI
they're just like,
the millennial pause is an interesting thing. You can see here that the ancients, they would pause right before. It's barely perceptible. Now, everyone, I want you to do a report on the millennial pause
this week. The AI is trying to figure out how to make us think that they are millennials when they, take over slowly, that they can come off as a certain age by including the pause, just those tiny moments.
See, and I'm thinking once the AIs become like, the new humanity.
Right, the new humanity for sure.
Is that they're going to then want to do the things we used to do like in a cool way. Just how there was like greasers,
or there's
flappers, or like people are dressing like different.
About flappers,
maybe not. I don't know. But like there's kids dressing like 70s rockers.
Yeah, you do you do the hippie thing.
There'll be AI kids that are like, we're so millennials,
and so they'll do the pause. They'll start the video. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
And they're listening to like Britney Spears, and they're just like I don't know. They're like wearing jellies, and they're just like, oh my god, like. So if anyone hates on the millennial pause, it's just really what we're going to be is cool to AI kids.
Yeah, just give us 100 years and all the AI are going to be trying to act like a bunch of millennials.
Like 5.
I know. Oh, that's so scary.
Are you going to, do we move into the woods when the AIs hit? Or they're going to know?
I mean,
the AIs are
going to know everything. They have access to all of our.
Yeah, there's no escape.
There's no escape. You just have to accept it. Just become one.
So you know how. Yeah, you know what I'm going to start doing? When the AIs hit and they start running stuff, I'm going to do the opposite of like buy a bunch of artillery and move to the woods. I'm going to befriend the AI. I'm going to do everything I can to just be like, when I go like because the AI is going to start small, right? They're going to be at the guard gate. They're going to be at the coffee shops, right? They're going to be taking over some jobs.
Yeah.
I'm going to go into those places. I'm going to tip huge.
Tip big.
I'm going to say, how was your day? I'm going to be like, tell me more. I'm going to be the most interested ever. So when they decide who to exterminate, they're going to be like, that guy was actually really nice.
Yeah. 1,000. Well, already they have the robot Uber Eats and Postmates. I don't know if anyone doesn't live in a big city, maybe they haven't seen it, but they have the cute little like Postmate box. He's got cute eyes and he rolls around. He's a little robot.
Flag.
I pet them. I talk to them if they deliver my sushi. I'm like, hi, hello, how are you? I always engage.
You're like, you're really cute.
I'm
actually.
like, oh my god, hello, you little cutie pie.
You're kind of hot. Like you probably do really well in the AI scene. And then, by the way, my name's Jessica. Jessica Ambrose.
Don't forget it. I give them my social security number.
Right.
Yeah, just
don't forget. I go. Listen, my name is Jessica Ambrose.
Yeah.
Social security number.
Exactly. Just
1988.
Yeah, I think,
as you can tell by my millennial pause. By the way, there will be an AI Bachelor at some point. There will be an AI Bachelor. I'm sure Bachelor Clues has gone deep into this. I'd love to see his records on what he believed the AI Bachelor will one day be.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to get into this.
Yeah.
We got to take a quick pause.
Yeah.
A millennial pause.
A millennial pause.
Family, I want to talk with you all about my fave ZocDoc. I used ZocDoc literally 2 days ago, and I was able to get an appointment the next day with a doctor with rave reviews. When you find the right doctor, you can feel it. You feel heard. You feel at ease. I know I did, and I always feel that way using ZocDoc.
When you're not feeling your best and just trying to hold it together, finding great care shouldn't take up all your energy. That's where ZocDoc comes in. Using their free app that millions of users rely on, you can find the right doctor that meets your needs and fits your schedule. Book an appointment with a few taps in their app and start feeling better, faster with ZocDoc.
ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, are available when you need them, and treat almost every condition under the sun. I genuinely use ZocDoc for any and all of my appointments, and I have been for years. It's the best. Go to ZocDoc.com/momdad and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/momdad, ZocDoc.com/momdad. So yes, The Bachelor. I mean, okay, so before we dive into The Bachelor, want to say that I am extremely excited for later in this episode. We are going to go over the ick once again, because we talked about it on last week's episode.
Dude, we got so many submissions.
We said, please send us some of your ick stories. And not only did we get so many submissions that we were going to listen to different ick stories, also, I feel like I got a good idea of like the true deep definition of the ick. So I'm excited to talk about that.
For me,
do you feel more confused
I feel more confused. I feel like it's more of a mystery. You know what I'm saying? So I like the fact that you feel more solid, because I feel more like it's a vast ocean of ick.
I mean, it definitely is a vast ocean. There's definitely many different.
You know about sharks. You know about, little Nemos. But you know what's at the bottom of the ocean? Who knows, dude? Endless amounts of weird ass fish that have like 4 eyes and lanterns and shit you've never seen. That's the ick. It's like, there's the classic icks, but then you start diving into the human brain and there is a vast ocean of random icks you've never seen.
Oh no, I believe that the icks go far beyond what we could ever imagine, but I kind of feel a little more like I got the idea of the definition.
Okay.
Because I was feeling slightly confused, because I felt like I understood it, and then when I was reading articles, but now I feel like the family really helped me get my brain into gear for this one. So we're going to talk about that after the Bachelor Recap and listen to the stories. I'm super excited. So stay tuned for that. Yeah. But this week on The Bachelor, what do you think about
this week on The Bachelor?
What do you think about this episode?
It wasn't as much drama as last week, but I do feel like there was a little bit of a shocker at the end for me. And then I feel like
you got emotional at the end.
Oh yeah.
You were feeling.
I was feeling
with
that.
Brooklyn. You were feeling real emotional.
Yeah, I was feeling it with Brooklyn. I was feeling it with Kaity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there was a couple moments where I was like, dang, this is heavy. But I feel like we're really zeroing in.
I got him to pause playing Zelda Breath of the Wild for 2 seconds to watch The Bachelor.
Oh, we didn't talk about my Zelda. Shit. I'm obsessed, you guys. Just a real quick tangent here. I played so much Zelda over the last week. I got into it last week and I played so much Zelda. Like I was up till 2:30 like most nights.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got like
4 hours of sleep a night for the past like week because I was playing so much Zelda. It's unbelievably amazing.
Everyone was asking which Zelda it is. It's Breath of the Wild. Yes, Breath of the Wild.
And I bought it for Jess as a gift. It's mine. Okay. You ain't even touch it. Don't mess my. Oh, if someone messes my game, if she went in there and messed my game up, if I picked up where I left off and all my weapons are depleted and my potions and elixirs are gone, dude. I mean, it's gonna be counseling for months. Okay,
that is a way that I could really hurt you right now. There are not many ways that I know how I could truly hurt you. That is a way that if I went in and I erased your game.
Well, dude, here's the thing. People talk. I've seen those videos of kids freaking out. Like, the dad walks in and he's like, "This is enough gaming," and he pulls the cord, and the kid's like, he's like 26. He's like, ah! He's like bashing his like keyboard. He's screaming on the ground. I'm that guy now. You mess with my Z, dude, it's over. Okay? I'm on the ground screaming in my underwear. You know what I mean? Like, you know what it is? It's just beauty. It's love. It's so bad. And again, this is 1 week old. I've only had this game for a week, and I've never played games barely at all my whole life. It's so bad now. When I walk around, I think that's kind of a Zelda thing.
Yeah, you've been saying that constantly. Yeah. When I get him out of the house, he's just
I'll see a sunset and be like, "This is very Zelda."
That's a sunset.
You guys, it's unreal.
Anyway.
Okay, just back to it. I just had to for all my Z heads out there. That's the name, dude. I got so many DMs being like, Breath of the Wild's insane. I played it nonstop. My Z heads.
Oh my God.
Dude. Unite Z heads. All right. Back to my B heads. Bachelor. All right. We're in Budapest.
Yes, we are. It was definitely a sleepier episode. Yeah. A couple hot moments that I definitely want to get to. But I also feel like, if I'm being completely honest with you, the drama just seemed minimal compared to what was exploding in pop culture news this week, which was Vanderpump Rules.
Oh, and I got into that.
Okay, so family, here's the deal. Obviously, Team Ariana for life over here, okay? I watched the first season of Vanderpump when it came out, however many years ago, a long time ago. I watched part of it and I enjoyed it, but I never really got into the show. And then for some reason, I started watching the newest season like 2 weeks ago. My friend got me into it. She was like, yeah, you should try it. And I dove back in just randomly into season 10 now. Yeah. And as I'm now starting, all of this drama explodes. If you don't know what we're talking about, I apologize. But the Vanderpump drama is absolutely wild and devastating. And I'm like, Evan, we need to get into Vanderpump. So I got Evan to watch the first 2 episodes. So we're already of season 10 because as stories come out.
Well, it'll be kind of like a little drop, just like what's going on right now.
Yes, I think I want to educate myself a little more before I start spilling certain thoughts on tea. But I'd love to have someone come on who is a Vanderpump expert and give us the rundown of everything that's going on in an upcoming episode.
And I like it too because I know nothing about these people and I'm just new to it. So like I'll fall in love with someone and then hate them by the end of the episode. Yes. And I'll be like, this guy, I ride or die for this guy. And then like 15 minutes later, I'm like, this is maybe the worst person I've ever seen in my life.
You did have a very strong opinion, though. Immediately, you were like, the Toms are the worst. And you didn't even know what was going on. You were like, the Toms are the worst. You're like, I can't stand these guys. These are the way that they were talking about Lala and Kaity. You were like, absolutely no.
But I like the British guy.
Yeah, you did.
I did. I loved him. He was so funny to me and brash and crazy. And then by the end of the episode, I was like, oh, this is a bad person. So I don't even know. It's a journey and it's a bit of a roller coaster.
I love me some Kaity. I love me some Ariana. That we know. Yeah. We support Ariana.
Team
Ariana. Anyway, I just had to go on a tangent because The Bachelor just seems so sleepy after my phone. All of a sudden, I'm finding out this whole new world of Vanderpump Rules. I know we had Lisa on Chatty Broads, and now I'm like, can we get Lisa Vanderpump to come on and to chat with us? This is my goal. I'm gonna see and do what I can. We're gonna continue to do Vanderpump Rules research and watch the episodes and manifest this.
Yes.
Can you imagine if we can get into Villa Rosa and have a convo with the LVP?
When you guys went, I was with you guys when we went the first time.
Yes, on Chatty Broads when Becca and I interviewed Lisa Vanderpump. Right. Evan
I didn't know anything about her.
To Villa Rosa.
I just was like, this house is sick. That's all I knew about her. Was she had a dope house.
Yeah, how did you feel about Lisa?
She was amazing though.
She was amazing, so cool. Right?
She was like the godmother, you know what I mean?
Yes.
She was just amazing. But now that I've seen a couple episodes, I'm like, whoa, this is...
You worship at the feet of LVP.
This is a whole different game. Yes. You know what I mean? I'm very into her.
Yeah, she was fantastic. So wonderful, so welcoming.
Really cool.
We gotta get back to Villa Rosa.
Yeah, we gotta get back to Villa Rosa, 100%.
All right, okay. I'll talk about The Bachelor.
Sorry, if those of you who are organized people who really like these episodes to be in perfect function, we apologize. This one has already been
it's off the rails.
Shit show,
but you know what? Let's get into it. Okay, so they're in Budapest this episode, which is the epitome of romance in Zach's words. But Jesse and Zach have another catch up.
Yeah,
Jesse is all of a sudden showing up every episode, having a sit down.
He's working for 2-3 minutes a week now. It's more than the 1 to 2 minutes he was doing last week.
He's having a full sit down with Zach every day. And it makes me wonder, I'm like, is Jesse lonely? Is Zach lonely? Are they both lonely? There's some big Bible study men's group energy going on with the two of them right now.
I'm triggered when I see them hang out because the way they're dressed, first of all, is very just like classic pastoral outfit, right? It's just like
it's clean. Church trauma.
Dude, I'm so traumatized.
Goes through the roof watching them
it's like clean jacket with like very fitting, nothing's out of place, but nothing's too stylish. The hair's perfect. Everybody's handsome. And they're just sitting there going, how are you, brother? Tell me more. What's going on with you? It's like this kind of like deep concern. Are you good? Are you good? But if you tell me something I don't like, I will ostracize you. You know what I mean? Like it's got that energy where it's just like... I
will quietly judge you and then cut you out of my life.
Yeah. It's like, it's very like, brother, thank you so much for all your service in our ministry. Fantastic. You tell me one little dark secret though, I will hold it against you and fire you if I need you to be fired immediately. You know what I mean? Like I'm sensing that energy.
Jesse is definitely the pastor.
He's the lead pastor.
He's the lead pastor and he's sitting down with maybe the youth pastor, maybe the worship leader, and they're catching up. They're having an accountability moment.
He's like, hey, how are you with these ladies? Are you guarding their hearts? You know, if you Christian kids out there or raised Christian, you know what I'm talking about. There's like there's a lot of guarding hearts. There's a lot of protecting. There's a lot of purity, purity. So it's like,
the purity culture.
Hey, like you guys can make out and, you can touch, but God doesn't see certain things. God only sees certain things. So just, any fooling around, like it's just, and then Zach's kind of got that young, bright-eyed, like, I'm going to be a pastor one day, just like you, Jesse, kind of vibe, So they're definitely brothers in Christ. That is for sure. Yeah,
I'm getting big brothers in Christ vibes. Also, next week when we see the Fantasy Suite episode, when Zach is sitting down and saying, like, I'm deciding on no sex. No judgment here. You choose what you want to do.
100%.
All in support of you choosing exactly what you want for you, whether that be all the sex, no sex, whatever. But off of all these Bible study moments with him and Jesse,
perfect.
It almost feels like he's like, listen, Pastor Jesse, I just want to let you know that in the Fantasy Suite, I will not be indulging in sexual activities.
Jesse, I'm guarding my heart, all their hearts, your heart. Everything, man. Everyone's hearts are guarded this season.
Jesse and Zach have built an unbreakable bond all of a sudden. I mean, even at the end of the episode, when Zach sends home Kat, Jesse, the embrace and the brotherhood.
Yeah, that was
episode.
Like, brother, are you sure you want to give up a model? Because you were saying she's a model, and man, I got to give it to you, man. That is, I wouldn't have given up the model. I'll be honest with you, brother. But you know what? You follow your heart, guard theirs, guard yours. Everyone's hearts are guarded.
I will never get over the moment when Zach said, I've never dated a model before.
Yeah,
please, I would like the family to refresh on Kat and Zach's date. Kat is, I believe, a nurse. She is not a model. Clearly, she's stunning. But Zach legitimately said she looks like a model. I've never dated a model before.
Yeah.
I'll never get over it. If I'm watching that back as one of the other women, I'm like, thanks for that, Zach.
Right.
The woman who's not even a model,
Not
you're
even
referring
a model.
to as you've never dated a model
That'd
before.
be
What
like-
are the rest of us, Zach?
Yeah, that would be like if someone kind of looked like a rock star. You know what I mean? And then you like said, oh, I've never dated a rock star before, but they're not a rock star. They just feel like have long hair and a leather jacket. You'd be like, it's kind of weird. You know what I mean? It's like, she's not even a model. Like she might look like a model, but she's not a model. So why are you saying she's never dated a model before? Is he basically saying I've never dated a girl that looked like a model before?
Yes, exactly.
So in that case, it's brutal.
It's
know
brutal.
What I mean?
It's brutal. And the whole time when he was like, when you could tell he was on the fence when he was having the conversations with Kat, I'm like, I know in his head the entire time, all he's thinking about is like, I do want to date a model. Can you imagine if I go back home and I tell my friends and family that I am dating a model, what they will say?
If I'm playing ping pong in my backyard and I got a model next to me, could you imagine what I'll be doing? I mean, like,
I can't wait to take my model girlfriend to Disneyland. Am I willing to give up that potential opportunity?
yeah. And then when it's like that too, it's just like, hey, what's up, Jeff? Yeah, meet my girlfriend. Kat, she's a model.
Kat's like, I'm actually not a model. I'm a nurse, but
And he's like, yeah, but she looks like one. But like, that's the same point. She could if she wanted to. So it's like the same thing, basically. She is a model, basically.
But when Jesse and Zach had that embrace, I could just hear Jesse whispering in Zach's ear, like, are you sure you want to give up the idea of dating?
It's like, brother, if I was single, okay.
So stupid. Well, they have their accountability group, and that's when we find out that for sure Greer is still there. We're left with a few women at this point. So now we're getting the double or we're getting the dates, the individuals who get to have their second round of one-on-one dates. And Kaity gets her second one-on-one, which is mind-blowing to me because Kaity has gotten so much time with Zach. Yeah. Like she had her first date, which is the overnight. She got to have her special moment where she went to his door when he had COVID. There's been a lot in every group date setting, cocktail party. I feel like he's always had those extended moments with Kaity, and then she gets the second one-on-one.
Yes.
And I'm like, I gotta be real with you. She's so clearly the front runner to me that I almost think that it cannot be.
Oh, like they're maybe tricking you because
I feel like it just feels so obvious. It feels so blatant. Like we're giving all this time to Kaity. They clearly have such an intense connection
that there's got to be a fallout.
There has to be something, right?
Because they wouldn't signal it that obviously.
It seems so blatant to me through this entire show, and it just keeps getting more and more clear that I'm like, first and foremost, it definitely seems like Zach does end up having sex with someone in the fantasy suite. I would assume that if he's going to be intimate with someone in that way, it would be Kaity because they seem to have like the deepest connection. And he was making comments about like, this is so beautiful. It ruined like a beautiful moment now because of the fallout or whatnot.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
But everything just seems so obviously Kaity that I'm wondering, I'm like, are they trying to just have us get this beautiful love story this season and let us follow along their like real journey through this as they're falling in love? Or are they going to hit us with a 1-2 at the end and surprise us with someone that we didn't expect?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a single misstep. There's not a single word out of place. There's not a single vibe out of place. There's not a question where you go, maybe there, maybe not. It's perfection. I will say, her performance this season, whether you want to call it a performance.
I mean, she just seems like an amazing
That's
person.
what I'm saying. I'm going to call it a performance only in the way that like, because she's on TV.
Sure.
But like, it is immaculate. I mean, she is immaculate from day one when it comes to like navigating this whole situation. It is kind of incredible.
No, I mean, Evan, truth be told, as Evan is sitting next to me, I'm watching him fall in love with her. He was literally sitting next to me last night watching the show, and I can feel him, like the way that he was just interacting with the TV. He was just like, wow, she's captivating, isn't it? But she is. She's that type of person where you're like, you watch the world fall in love with Kaity. Yes. Everything Kaity does and says, it's just, she is captivating.
She's magical.
She is magical.
You know what I mean? And it's not even like, it's like, listen, not my type, okay? Listen, I don't like magical, okay? No, she's just like, super charming, but also like strong. And I think that is like pretty cool. So yeah, either they're setting her up to be the Bachelorette, or it is just straight to the top.
So they announced who the Bachelor... Well, that's not true. The spoiler came out about who the Bachelorette is, and it is taking everything in my bones and my body to not look at it. Spoil. And I'm getting messages from people being like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And I'm like, oh my God, who is the Bachelorette? So apparently the spoiler is out. There's a chance always that ABC last minute changes their mind, but I don't know who the Bachelorette is, but it's out. Apparently,
I saw a thing that said like, do you want to look at it? I'm like, no.
I know, I'm really trying my best.
You gotta stay in the pocket.
We'll see if I can resist. Let's talk a little bit about Kaity and Zach's date, but quick pause. So habits, rituals, and routines are unique to everyone, right? Let's talk about habit stacking. It's this idea that you can build a major habit by thinking small enough to get started, which is extremely helpful for me, okay? It's helpful for me to start small and build. Habits I started: 5 minutes of meditation daily, okay? At least 10 minutes with my feet in the grass outside, and taking my Seed DS-01 daily symbiotic first thing when I wake up in the morning.
Ah, yes. Seed's DS-01 daily symbiotic is a plant-based prebiotic and probiotic with 24 strain that have been scientifically studied for its benefits. It's engineered to survive your external and internal environments. Their capsule and capsule ViaCap safeguards viability through digestion for delivery of an average of 100% of Seed's probiotic starting dose to your colon. The outer capsule also serves as a barrier to oxygen, moisture, and heat. No refrigeration necessary.
It's actually amazing. There are so many benefits from taking Seed. It promotes digestive health, supports healthy regularity and bloating, which was a huge issue for me, by the way, and Seed has helped so much with that regularity. It also helps promote healthy skin, heart health, and more. And Seed delivers the DS-01 Daily Symbiotic to you monthly in sustainable packaging with a reusable glass jar that protects the probiotics inside and helps minimize plastic use and waste.
Start a new healthy habit today. Visit seed.com/momdad and use code MOMDAD to redeem 20% off your first month of Seed DS-01 Daily Symbiotic. That's seed.com/momdad and use code MOMDAD.
So listen, life can get a little busy sometimes. We all feel this, right? Whether you're busy with classes, working, taking care of the kiddos, whatever it may be, we all get busy. Thankfully, Daily Harvest does more so we can do less. Think stress-free meals delivered to your doorstep, aka they have my back. And in the most delicious way, too.
I love Daily Harvest. It is so good. If it's in the house, you can be sure that it's what I'm choosing to eat. Daily Harvest.
You steal it all.
I love it, and I eat it constantly. Daily Harvest delivers delicious harvest bowls, soups, flatbreads, snacks, smoothies, lattes, and more, built on organic fruits and vegetables. With nourishing and easy-to-prep options, we never have to think twice about what to eat for our next meal, snack, or dessert. Everything stays fresh in our freezer until we're ready to enjoy it.
It also helps us reduce food waste, and Daily Harvest freezes their food at peak ripeness to lock in flavor and nutrients, and they never use artificial preservatives or ingredients. I mean, truth be told, I have loved everything I have ever tried from Daily Harvest, but my hot list definitely has the mint and cacao smoothies on it, the cauliflower rice and pesto harvest bowls, and the cold brew and roasted bean chip cashew scoops. Holy smokes, those are so good.
I pop those things like crazy.
Yes, you do.
Let Daily Harvest do more so you can do less. Go to dailyharvest.com/momdad to get up to $40 off your first box. That's dailyharvest.com/momdad for up to $40 off your first box. dailyharvest.com/momdad.
Okay, so Zach and Kaity, they're exploring Budapest and they're strolling around. Something that was interesting that I thought about their date was when Zach talked about how they don't know the simplest things about each other yet, and hometowns is next week. So like the clock is ticking. We walk away this episode with the top 4. And there was that moment, it was almost like breaking that fourth wall, where Zach was like, by the way, we don't know the simplest things about each other. So if you want to throw out any facts, like your favorite color, I was like, so deep. So
tell,
like, it
tell
really
me, tell me the stuff that
you.
really gets you going. Like, what's your favorite color? Like, uh-oh. Is that the moment that you go, I've made a massive mistake? When a guy goes, hey, you know, we've had a whirlwind. We've been in Paris and we've just had a whirlwind sexual affair here. And it's been nothing, but we've been living in the sheets for 4 days. And, you know, it's late nights and alcohol and fun. And it's just been a whirlwind. But I really do feel like I really want to get to know you. I want to take you to this next level. What is your favorite color? I'm just like, I need to get the first flight out of here.
That's an ick moment for me.
Right?
I would have been like, my favorite color. I'm like, I understand that you're on the fly right now, but like,
is that what you want to know?
I'm like maybe
is that the thing that's going to get you to know me better? Is that the simple thing? Let's start with like,
what about your
makes
favorite
me happy
childhood memory? Yes.
Yeah.
What brings you joy in life?
Let's start with where I'm from. Let's start with what I do for work. Have we even talked about that? It's funny though, because then they show a preview at the end of the episode when they were talking to, I think, Ariel's brother or something, maybe, and he's like, do you even know her middle name? And he's like, ooh, good question.
I mean, let's be honest, he probably doesn't know most of their last names. A lot of the leads will come off. I know that Kaity Thurston has talked about how when her and Blake, after they got engaged, they left that season and she did not have his phone number. And so like she couldn't even get a hold of him after the show and to talk to her fiance. Right. Like it's pretty wild when you break it down. It's pretty wild.
Yeah,
so they don't know.
Wild.
What would be the first question that you would ask somebody if you were in this Zach situation where you're like, I don't know a lot of things about you, but like,
I'd say, do you play Zelda? Breath of the Wild?
There you go.
I'd say,
honestly,
I would say, are you a Z head?
And if they knew the answer,
and if they said,
then it's a thumbs up.
Of course, what's your favorite shrine? Then I'd be like, let's get that ring guy in here.
Ring guy.
Where's the ring king?
Where's that ring
king? No, what would I say? You know, I'd probably start diving into like, you know, like if I'm going to go basic, I'm going to be like, what do you like to do? Like talk to me about your daily routine at home. Like what are some of the stuff you do? Are you like I wake up at 5 a.m. and I go to the gym person, or like, no, I just walk and get coffee and I catch up with friends, or
I like to sleep
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I like to sleep. Like I'd want to know a little bit more about your routine and your vibe to kind of catch what you're like in the wild.
Mm-hmm.
So I dive into that probably more. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that's good. I think I would say like, tell me about your friends. Like I want to know about your friends. I feel like that's a great window to hear what someone would say about their friends.
Right.
Because I think you could get a different slew of answers. Somebody goes, oh, well, my friends are a bunch of shitheads, but I love them. And you're like, oh, okay. I don't know if that's a red flag or like, oh, there's a specific friend of mine that's my brother. That's my sister. They've been there for me through everything. And and then you're like, okay, like you had a close relationship with some people. I don't have any friends. I don't believe in friends. I believe that you got to go out as an alpha. And alphas ride alone. That's what I'd say. I'm a sigma. I don't know these words, but I'd be like, I'm an alpha. I'm an alpha male. I do not fraternize with friends. Friends slow me down. Next question. Friends are for the weak. Friends mean when my enemies attack me, there's a weak point. But if I have no friends, what can you do to me? I'm invincible. Next question. Food. I don't like food. I just drink smoothies because it's fast. Because it's fast.
I'm too busy making money. I don't have time for food. Unless it's like an event, like an engineering, like an entrepreneurial event, then I will eat. But only because it is a networking opportunity. He's like, Kaity, do you want to make $1 million? I have a course.
And then the MLMs.
Yeah. And he looks right at the camera and he's like, do you want to make money on YouTube?
Oh my God. Well,
I'm looking for a queen. I'm not looking for a buddy. I'm looking for a CEO of my life. All of a sudden, he just turns into this like hypo-aggressive, like entrepreneurial like YouTuber.
Oh my God. Well, Zach only really wants to know about colors.
Got it. Okay, cool. Back to that.
That's where he ends. They have a typewriter moment where he suggests poems. He does not write a poem to her. He writes about 2 sentences.
And they're just like a really short letter. It's just like, I like you and I feel like things are going in the right direction.
Yes.
That's my poem.
That was the poem. Also,
I don't do poems. It's art. Art is useless. What are you going to build with art? I like you. Things are going well. Get on board. Sign up now. Anyway, sorry. I'm really taking this bit way too far. Apologies. Woo!
He's been stuck inside watching Zelda or playing Zelda for too long. But Zach does not share a poem. Poems, they take too long. He just writes, 2 sentences. He is staring at her as she is writing her poem. It is quite creepy.
It was a little creepy.
It was very creepy. She also, when I saw the poem that she delivered to him, her name was spelt differently. It was spelt wrong.
Like Katy.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So that was an interesting moment. It goes, okay, there's a few things that are potentially happening here. Either 1, a producer wrote it and spelled her name wrong, or 2, the producers made her change the spelling of her name to differentiate her from another Kat or Katie or anyone potentially on the show.
Or he just never had to spell her name.
No, her name, when she signed hers, she spelled her name wrong. Yes.
What?
That's what I'm saying. What is
Maybe
this
that was
mystery?
A mistake. Maybe the producers wrote the letters.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and they didn't realize. They just completely spaced.
Or her name is actually spelled Katy, and
How
producers.
When he said "Dear Katy," was it right?
I didn't see his. Oh, I know. Gotta look back.
Two different producers wrote the 2 different letters. Yeah. They didn't coordinate.
They didn't have their headphones in. But then we have the night portion of the date. They go to that old bathhouse, and I mean, they're just like, again, I said earlier, if they're not the final 2, I feel like they're trying to make us feel like they will be. So either they want us to definitely feel like these are the 2 and we're falling in love with them together, or they're going to hit us with the quick 1-2 and it's going to be someone different. And it's shocking because this conversation to me, the two of them, I mean, she right away said, she's like, I can tell you want to ask me something. Like she can already read him pretty well. And she's like, I know you want to ask me something, just ask it. And that's when they have the conversation where she talks about, who he's going to meet at hometowns. And she talks to him about how, her dad left the family at a young age and she didn't get to meet him until she was 16. And then, it was too late when he wanted to be a part of their lives. And then her mom was with another guy who was like a father to her. And then he left when she was in 8th grade. Such
it was like surprising too, because she had never even mentioned anything like this. And all of a sudden she's just like, by the way, bam, heavy, 2 dads left.
Yeah.
Like, whoa. You know?
And, you could tell that, this was something that was, it's such like a tragic story and she was so vulnerable about it, but she was, she was struggling getting through it. And, I felt like he did do a great job, in my opinion, of telling her, like, if you don't want to talk about it, don't talk about it. Don't push yourself any farther if you don't feel like sharing this, but like, I've got you. I'm here for you. Again, like we've said, I feel like when Zach is interested in someone, he was present. He was present there with Kaity. And he gives her that rose and they dip in the hot waters of that sexy bathhouse. But we hear her say that she needs a little more time to say I love you with him.
Yes.
So maybe she's the one who in the end ends up pulling the no.
Oh, I love that.
Maybe Zach
that would be
is
epic.
Like, why aren't you telling me that you're in love with me yet? Because I could see Zach being like, why haven't you said I love you yet?
What is wrong with you? What's there not to love?
And her being like, I don't know if I'm quite there yet. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
I could see her maybe them getting to the very end and her being like, I'm not ready to get engaged.
But she has said like, I want this so much. And like, she's saying a lot of heavy stuff. But
for sure. But also like when you get to the actual point of like, I'm about to put a ring on your finger, then maybe it hits home in a different way. And sometimes I will tell you this, you do the hometown dates and things can change. Things can shift a great deal when all of a sudden you do the hometown dates and the family's with you and all of a sudden the parents come in and go, just remember, you really don't know this person. Remember how he asked you what your favorite color was a couple days ago? You don't have to get engaged. You could just date.
Yeah. She could totally pull that. And I will say she hasn't shown, she's kind of seems like one of the ones that hasn't shown a lot of like fear around like where this is headed or like if she's gotten enough time or like, you know what I mean? She kind of has this like sense about her that's like, I don't know, a little bit more. I feel like he could be put on ice with her maybe the most at this point.
Yeah, I agree. I could
like she could
see
flip
her.
The script quick.
I could see her putting him on ice for sure. If all of a sudden there's a move that she doesn't necessarily feel comfortable with, I could see her being like, this is not what I was expecting to see. And I need to process this and think about this. So we shall see. Well, then we have the group date, okay? And this group date, because we're getting close to the end here, it's only Kat, Ariel, Charity, and who else? Gabby. Okay. But also, okay, I know Brooklyn was not on the group date. She gets a one-on-one later. But with the Kat situation, we have no follow-up with what went down between Kat, Brooklyn. The last time that we saw Kat was having the conversation with Charity and Brooklyn, and Kat storms off. And it ended at like a peak moment where you're like, what's going to happen next week? Are Brooklyn and Kat going to have some sort of like a follow-up confrontation? Like what's going down? And we have nothing. Producers have shown us nothing.
Yeah. Because it was like, it wasn't even like, and then they kind of fought and walked away. It was like, she stormed out. It was like, I'm done with this bullshit, and walked off. So it was like pretty fiery.
Yes.
Well, how come in this season we haven't had more like physical matches? You know how they'll have like where you got to go on and like hit each other with like big, soft things or like do American Gladiator type like events. They could have really used one of those.
Yeah, I mean, they had the football date earlier in the season.
But usually they have a little bit more like where you got to like treacherously go through this thing.
Maybe the production figured out that there's liabilities with that.
Yeah, but
when people are getting injured.
Them to battle.
Oh my god.
Yeah, maybe they just kind of let it lie and they're just like whatever, like frenemies.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like Brooklyn's the type of person who's going to communicate. I wonder what went down. I mean, we definitely saw Kat numerous times throughout this episode continuing to, when the women are all expressing how they're feeling, definitely pulling the whole, yeah, but for me,
I'm different.
The hardest because our connection.
It was like the Greer Kat vibes, which is just like, I know you guys are all in the exact same scenario as I am, but like mine's a little different because it's me. You know what I mean? It's like,
because my feelings matter a little more.
It is funny when everyone's like, drowning.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, guys, like I just need to bring something up. And everybody's like, yeah. And then you're like, guys, I hate drowning. And like this drowning thing is like really hard on me. And I don't really know like what I'm going to do. And everyone's like, totally. I'm so sorry you're going through this drowning thing. It's just a little bit like, it's really, I never understood the like, everyone's in the same scenario and I'm going to go ahead and just talk about how it's hard on me.
I know.
It's very strange, but I mean,
I'm like, you go into the ITMs and it's like all's fair. You're processing, what's going on specifically just with a producer and you're having that conversation.
Well, that's different.
But the sit down with everyone when everyone's like feeling the emotions, especially during this mind reading date, everyone's feeling the emotions and it's a little bit like, yeah, but for me, and you're like, well, I think everyone's really stressed out right now and concerned about the fact that next week is hometowns and will he meet my family. It's definitely not just about you. But they go into a theater. The four of these women go into a theater. The dark lights, it's dark inside. The lights are flashing. It feels very like haunted house energy. And Zach is inside with a man. And Zach says, welcome to Budapest. This is basically the birthplace of magic. He's like, I don't think you need magic to find love. And I was hoping at that moment that Zach would just disappear into a cloud of smoke.
But it does. He's just like, in their eyes are like, ah! And then like all of a sudden he's like up in the rafters and he's like, but it does bring surprising elements to a relationship. And, and he's like back down at their face again. And he's like, it's all about zest, And he's just
flying around the room.
And you don't even know where he is, but you hear him in the rafters, like. And he's like, welcome.
There's just the echoes of Zach's voice in the different corners of this like chapel.
He's like, and then he becomes.
Are you here for the wrong reasons?
Are you an inspiring entrepreneur? and then he becomes the Phantom, and then he lives there forever.
And then that's the end of the show.
That's the end of the show.
Yeah, and then they wrap it. They were like, this season's a little boring. We think we're just going to leave Zach there.
And then the magician starts hitting on them.
And then the magician takes over.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is
a nice way for them to switch it up during the season.
Yeah, we're spitballing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought he was going to at least say something kind of interesting, but he just goes, he's like, you don't need magic to fall in love, but you do need a little bit of magic to, kind of basically understand each other a little bit more and kind of get to know each other and kind of really start to kind of just understand a little bit more about each other as we move into this next stage. And it was like, what? You don't need,
like, where's the build up?
You don't need magic for that. You don't need magic to slightly understand each other more. You need questions, okay?
Questions other than what's your favorite color?
Yeah.
But he introduces them to Labib Malik, who is a mentalist, a mind reader. Okay. Now, first of all, for me personally, nothing tickles my fancy more than a mentalist. I could watch a mentalist perform for hours. Look at my YouTube searches. It's just all of this. I love it. Blows my mind. But a few things. Number one, Labib started out this whole situation by having the women like show their hands, and then he was having them, show their hands, the back, the tops and the bottoms of their hands, and then he opens up Zach's hand and there's a heart in there, and he's like, whoever this heart lands on, that's where the true connection is. And I'm like, this is mean.
Yeah, that was weird.
You're letting the magician and I feel like Zach really trusts him. Zach is not like, oh, this isn't magic, this is real. Like, Zach believes this is real, and whoever this heart lands on, they are my true connection. I'm like, you're gonna let this man, he's gonna choose one of the women to pull his magic trick on, and the heart lands on hers, and he gets to all of a sudden have control of this relationship. He gets to choose who gets the heart. That's not fair.
He's like, pick this one. I want the model. No. It was like a cool little trick.
It was very cool.
It was very cool. But my problem with it was just like, there wasn't like, I feel like it would have been more interesting if they all had it on their hands or like, but it was just the fact that just Gabby got it.
That's
it was just like,
and he said this is where the true connection lies. And he just puts it on Gabby's. Somehow it gets on Gabby's hand. And then she's the lucky one who now Zach thinks that they have the true love connection. It
would have been funny if they would have done an ITM with him. And he'd been like, I've just seen all the episodes so far, and I really feel like she's, the best connection for him. Like he's just like, he just is like his personal opinion.
Along the whole time. Well, he sits them down in a circle. They've done this numerous times. They've done therapy. They've done a group sit down with Nick Vihel before.
It's time to get the tears flowing and get people uncomfortable.
But this time, though, first of all, those circles are always very uncomfortable. Yeah. It's pushing people to publicly be vulnerable about things and feelings and emotions that they might not be ready to share yet. But this time they take it to a whole nother level by saying, we're not just going to do that. We're going to have a mentalist here who says, if you're not honest, I'll know you're lying.
So
because
random.
I can read your mind. And he keeps reminding them of this. Remember, if you lie about this, I'll know because I can read your mind. So everyone's sweating. It's like the full lie detector test situation, except now this man's up here with a chalkboard predicting everything they're going to say, which truly amazing. What a gift.
Yeah, I don't know how he
Not sure how he does it. But that is terrifying. Terrifying.
Yeah, it's really like strip naked right now. Like that's basically relatively what they're doing emotionally in front of everyone. It's like admit stuff that's really tough for you to admit and do it in front of the guy you're trying to date that you've known for 2 weeks.
And just FYI, if you're not telling the truth, I know because I can read your mind.
Yeah.
That's so mean. That's so mean.
Like straight up, they should do a lie detector test because could you imagine?
They've done one before.
Have they? Yeah, oh my gosh, that's worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And this feels like a version of that where it's like you're being forced to admit things that are tough. And it's like
in a group. I believe the lie detector, I could be wrong, fact check me family, but I believe the lie detector episode, they were alone in the room. So at least there was a little bit of privacy. Granted, there's the cameras and then they show it on the television
there's millions,
sets.
Yeah.
But this, when they're all in the room in a circle together, and here's my other huge problem with it. My other huge problem with it is that they didn't make Zach do it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, so the women get interrogated about diving into their most personal, deepest, vulnerable moments. And then Zach doesn't even have a moment where the mentalist sits down and reads Zach's mind.
Well, did you notice, and I clocked this, and I wasn't sure if this was supposed to be intentional or not, but he didn't say, after he did and it takes a little bit of magic to, to understand each other. The second that sentence ended, he did not say another word for the rest of the whole date.
No, he just observed.
He just sat there and he goes, oh.
And he just took notes mentally.
It was so strange that he wasn't like, I'm sorry that you went through that, or hey, I'm here for you, or nothing. He just goes, interesting.
No, he just mentally took notes and watched as these women had to be super vulnerable and are crying and processing all these things as the mentalist holds up the board.
Now, the only one that didn't get it was Kat.
Yeah, we didn't see her
Maybe you got it wrong.
Like, yeah, that might have been it. That was the one that he got wrong. They're like, let's not include that.
And then maybe that was the reason why she got cut, because he was like, you're lying.
They would have showed that.
Yeah, that's true.
They would have showed. But I was just watching this whole thing. I'm like, if I was one of these women, the level of stress I would feel is a 10, an absolute 10. I don't want to discuss these certain things. And now I have this man looking at me who can clearly read my mind. I'm not sure how. And I'm now feeling the pressure to answer these extremely personal things about me. And then the lead, who I'd also like to get to know too, maybe I want to know what his favorite color is, doesn't have to answer any of these questions from the mind reader. I feel like he should have been the first person to do it. He should be the example so that everyone can loosen up and ease into it and be like, look, I'm going to do it too. But instead, he just sat there and watched as all the women had to go through this. And it cracked open this huge moment where now all of a sudden the women are feeling so vulnerable and on edge after this.
I also felt it was interesting how it ultimately led to the downfall of Kat, because she exposed that she was feeling a little bit, maybe not that she didn't like him, but like, I'm on edge about this like process right now. And everyone else was super diehard, super vulnerable and then diehard on him. She was the first one or the only one to go, yeah, I don't know if I'm ready.
Yeah. No,
I think that was the final. I think that was actually the like little straw that started the situation, and then he couldn't ever come back around.
No questions ever.
You should be absolutely die hard for me.
Sold out. But yeah, that was the thing where it was just like these women are pushed to go places vulnerably that they probably weren't ready to go into. And then this feeling, just the narrative of this show, that then they should feel like, I hope he likes me, even though I'm sharing these things. And again, they were things that are like important parts of their past as they're processing these moments in their life. Yeah. And it's just kind of like, I hope, and just the narrative of the show can piss me off sometimes where you just go, oh my gosh, these incredible women who are being vulnerable, even though it's this mind reader situation, are now feeling this pressure of, I hope that this guy will accept me. And I'm just like, women, you all are 10s and amazing and you deserve the world. And the question is, do you want to be with Zach? You know what I'm saying? That's all. That was just. There's
also kind of a narrative too of what depending on the type of trauma you have, is better suited for the situation. Forcing you to open up about these things, depending on what your trauma is
it very much depends on the lead as well.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it's very clear that Zach there are some things that he is quote unquote okay with, and then there are plenty of things that it seems like this man is not willing to deal with.
Yes.
And that he seems to shut down about when he hears.
And even if it's not even conscious, it's almost just like a mental thing. So if it is conscious, obviously, but if it isn't conscious, it's almost like this thing where he's like, if it's just struggles outside of our relationship, that seems to, I understand that. If it's struggles related to a relationship, I'm there for you, but I'm also like wondering, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's an interesting thing. We'll see how this develops.
Yeah. But man, I mean, you then just saw afterwards, everyone was just, my heart just went out to the women because I'm like, oh my God, if I would have been in that situation, I would have just been an absolute pile on the floor. And they were all just, the stress is getting there, having to open up when you're not ready and publicly. And then by the time that the cocktail or the evening portion came around, they all wanted to sit with Zach and have a conversation.
We're good, right?
Yeah, to like let them know. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. I'm like, why can Zach needs to be, whatever. But I mean, I will say all of his conversations then did go well afterwards.
Yeah. Everyone he got that good conversation. He was able to talk to everyone, and everyone was able to come back and go, I feel better now.
Yes. So he sat down with Ariel, and Ariel right away, again, he's like, she makes me always feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But Ariel, was joking and laughing and talking about hometowns and everything and how earlier it had been stressful for her, but she tried to like lighten the mood. So they then connected on that.
About dad thinking that orgies are what the Bachelor is.
Yes, or we found out that her father thinks that the Bachelor is orgies.
Yeah, he's like, they're going to make you take your clothes off. She's like, I think that's Game of Thrones.
I cannot wait to meet her family next week.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. And then Charity with Zach. Zach ended up, after their conversation, saying that he can see a forever future there with her.
Wow.
Yes. So definitely seems to be locked in with Charity.
Yeah.
But then Gabby, who always surprises me. Like whenever they're together, I'm like, oh yeah, they've got this like really intense connection. But sometimes I forget. I don't know why, but sometimes I forget. And then when the two of them are sitting next to each other, I'm like, oh my God, he always is talking about the butterflies and the nerves. And she talks about how she makes a comment and says that her mom and sister even think Zach would be a good match for her, which that's a two-parter for me. Number one, that means that we know that mom and sis watched the show and watched Zach. So I'm very excited to see that dynamic at Hometowns next week, to see what her mom and sister are like on the show. I love when we see people who are fans of the show at the Hometowns, because you can read it all over them. Oh my God. Yes. And I love when they try to act like they're not fans of it and act like they don't really know what. Oh my God, this camera here, Zach who?
Yeah, and you all can also tell too how done up they are. Like they show up to like the
Everyone's got
hometowns
full
and everyone's
glam.
in like full glam. And then the other people who don't even watch the show, they're like, what's up? Dad's like, I got to get back to work. What is this thing we're doing again? You know, versus the other person, like, hello, it's fantastic. And they have signs and it's like
the
a whole
house
thing.
is fully staged.
Yeah,
like
right.
everything's just
They're rented
perfect. But so yeah, she brought that up to Zach, but also the second that Zach mentioned that her family,
or Gabby mentioned that her family,
the second that Gabby mentioned,
he's like, come here. And
that
they
her
made up against the wall.
her mom and sister like Zach. Zach was like, you mentioned family to me and I am
You're
ready
telling
to
me
go.
You got a good family and they like me. He's like, foreplay be gone.
He pushes her up against the wall and starts making out with her. I was like, this is quite a
He's
transition.
like, oh yeah. He's like, tell me how much your family's gonna love me. It clearly is his biggest turn on.
Clearly.
His family and your family is his biggest turn on because he loves talking about how much family it means to him, and then if you tell him that your family's gonna love him, oh my gosh.
Nothing makes Zach see a wedding ring more than the idea of his family and your family going on a family vacation together, like a full double family vacay.
If you want to break up with Zach, just tell him you're not really getting along with your parents too much, and
Yeah,
he's
and Zach's
he's already
done.
on the first flight out.
Yeah, he's out.
That was kind of funny though. She's like, my parents are gonna love you, and then they cut to like them just like smashed up against a wall.
Well, he gives the group date to Gabby, so the family really locked it in for Gabby. So he will be meeting Gabby's family next week.
Yes,
this is when we see Kat the women are, they're there for Gabby. They're like, we're happy for you, we love you, and Kat's like, I'm obviously happy for you, but it was really hard to open up. And I'm like, everybody had to open up. Yeah. Everyone's traumatized post opening up with the mentalist. Okay. I think if anything, everyone had to open up a little bit more.
Yeah.
They were digging a little deeper.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Okay. We have to take a quick pause and then let's talk Brooklyn.
Got it.
So I always knew I should be taking vitamins, but for a lot of my life, I just had a hard time remembering to take them or knowing which ones to take until I started using Care of. Care of is a subscription service that ships high quality, personalized vitamins, supplements, and powders conveniently to your door every month. You just take a short, in-depth quiz about your lifestyle and health goals, and you get a personalized, doctor-backed recommendation, okay? It takes the guesswork out of what supplements are best suited for you.
And each shipment comes with a customized pamphlet showing you exactly what is in your individual packs and why it was recommended specifically for you and your health goals. Also, Care of's daily vitamin packs are made of plant-based compostable film, which is amazing.
Yeah, and the individual daily packs are so convenient too for travel. You can just toss a couple in your bag or your purse and you're set. To be honest, the daily packs make it convenient every day for me, simply every day. It helps me not forget to take them. If I have some in my purse, I have some in my glove compartment. They're everywhere, all over me at all times, so I never forget. And they're very cute too.
They are very cute. They look great.
Cute.
For 50% off your first Care of order, go to takecareof.com and enter code MOMDAD50. That's 50% off your first Care of order by going to takecareof.com and entering code MOMDAD50.
So I'm taking a little business trip here shortly, and you know that I will be bringing my new Base Weekender bag with me, my gorgeous, chic new obsession. Their bags are so good at Base. I cannot wait to go through the airport with it, okay? When people see how efficient I am going through TSA, removing my laptop, my headphones, and snacks galore, I want them to wonder how I did it without holding the line up. And when I settle in to watch my favorite movie in that seat, I want them to gasp at how I created my own in-flight entertainment center in seconds, all thanks to my Base carry-on.
The talk of the airport, baby.
Talk of the airport.
We love our new Base Weekender bags, and they have so many pieces and options. Base was created by actress Shay Mitchell to make sleek and affordable bags, luggage, and accessories designed to help you travel effortlessly while looking fashionable. Base has thought of everything you could ever want in a piece of luggage: 360-degree gliding wheels, cushion handles, a built-in weight indicator, washable bags for your dirty clothes, and all the interior pockets you need to keep organized. Their luggage comes in multiple sizes and colors, and for shorter trips, like we said, the Weekender bag is super functional and even has a place for your shoes separately.
Every piece is made to look better with miles, so you don't even have to worry about it in the cargo or the overhead compartment. And Base has over 30,000 5-star reviews, okay?
Wow.
You have to check out their website to see all the gorgeous pieces, and also the quality is a 10 for real. Right now, Base is offering our listeners 15% off your first purchase by visiting basetravel.com/momdad. Go to basetravel.com/momdad for 15% off your first purchase. That's BEIS travel.com/momdad. Okay, so before we get to Brooklyn, I forgot we have Greer. Okay, so Greer has been quarantining this whole time. They allude to the fact, again, like she wasn't able to travel to Budapest yet, so she was behind the other women. And she then shows up at Zach's hotel door, and we find out it's been 3 weeks since they've seen each other because he was quarantining and then she was, and there was the travel and everything, which if you break down 3 weeks in the Bachelor world, that's a long time. Like,
oh my gosh, it's
that's
half your experience.
7 months for a Bachelor experience.
That's 5 years of a marriage. Yeah.
That's like 25% of your dating time.
Yeah.
You have an entire family at that point.
That's your grandparents.
Yeah. So this is kind of mind blowing to me. I did not know it had been that long. And the fact that they had her, I mean, obviously she had to quarantine, but then the fact that she had to go travel and fly to Budapest to just show up to his hotel door, not even have a date to get broken up with within 5 minutes was so rough.
And the girls were tripping too. The girls were like, if she comes in and stays, we're going to lose our mind, which I understand.
I would have felt the same
if
exact
they're all
way.
like, if people getting cut, they've had to do the mentalist thing, they're exhausted, they're scared, and then all of a sudden she comes in and just goes, ladies, how we been?
Yeah, like, I would have been super
I would have loved it
pissed
for the drama, but but if I was a contestant, I would have lost my mind.
Especially too when you're seeing like your other friends going home, because, you know, in this interim, numerous people have gone home. So you're like, oh, she's just staying and now she's getting a hometown date. And I
also think that he was off of her before this even happened because we saw them in that situation when he snapped at her.
Yeah, let's just not forget the COVID conversation. She tried to relate to him and he
snapped at her. Yeah, he snapped at her. So it's like we knew that before there was a disconnect. There was a weird disconnect. So then when she went into quarantine, like clearly that was the final blow that he was like, you know, I was already off you, but then I don't see you for 2 weeks. Then we're definitely not.
Well,
connected.
You could tell in their conversation as soon as she sat down and she was kind of like, okay, so I know it's been a while, but I really like you. We have this connection and here's where I'm at. Like, I want you to meet my family. Da, 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 da. And the way he responded is he goes, well, that's literally days away. And I started laughing because I'm like, if another person had been quarantined and they said, I really want you to meet my family, Zach probably would have been like, that means so much to me that you would be willing to, even though we haven't seen each other so much, that you'd be willing to introduce me to your family. But he was like, slow your roll, Greer, okay? It's
clearly
literally days away.
Bothers him about her. There's like something
that
makes him kind of like irritable.
Yeah.
I get irritation vibes around him.
Yes.
About her.
Yes. No, he like Dr. Diane said, back to love, Doc, the ick seems to be clear. Like he seemed to have gotten the ick. I believe it was as soon as she was trying to find her face in that Zoom.
He was like super grossed up at that.
Which I'm like, what in the world? Like, are you kidding me? When she's like, I look at that the whole time. I'm like, as do all the rest of humanity. Everybody stares at that. I'm like, Zach, come on. I'm sure you got to see your face on the other side. And then the producers tortured the women by not letting them see what they look like. Everybody stares at themselves. But he was just, it was not.
Yeah, he was off. Now, one thing shocking about though was that she was convinced she was going to go to hometowns. Like she was, like when he broke up, it was like she was like totally shocked.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was a little strange to me. I was like, how do you not see this coming? Like it's been 2 weeks. The last moment you guys had together, he snapped at you. Like you got to see that like the chances are low. I was expecting her to be like, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I'd try, but she was like, I can't. And I was like, whoa.
I agree. What I chalked that up to was
just like sitting in
sick, been in isolation, just now traveled all the way over here, getting broken up with. You're just over it. And then also too, she did get his first impression rose. So there's a little bit of that piece in your mind that always goes, well, he liked me best the first night.
Yeah.
So maybe there is more of a connection that I'm feeling here. Like maybe he's thinking about me the whole time and he just hasn't been able to see me. even though after that COVID conversation, you'd think, but
Yeah.
So she got sent home, and that was just right out of quarantine, flying over to him, getting broken up with in a hotel room.
Yeah.
Straight back on a plane.
Yeah. It was interesting.
Oof. Well, Brooklyn had then the last one-on-one, and they had another, a similar date to his and Kaity's, where they traveled around. They rode bikes, which I wouldn't be able to do since we all know that I don't know how to ride a bike. That would be very stressful for me on the show.
Did you know
if
that?
all this
She doesn't know how to ride a bike.
I did not, but I don't like riding bikes either. So
You guys are
I love
similar.
you.
It's insane. You guys understand that not wanting to ride a bike is not a thing. So the fact that you guys both share that is a wild move.
Why would I want to ride a bike? I can just take a car.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Bring me a convertible, babe. Get the
Why
wind in
would
my
I take
hair
it when
that
I
way.
could take a PJ? No, but it is funny.
I'd be so stressed out if all of a sudden I was on that show, and of course I wouldn't tell them that I didn't know how to ride a bike, because then of course you know that you're going to get a bike date. But there's often bikes involved in the dates, and all of a sudden I walk up and there's a bike, and I have to look at the lead and be like,
do you have a razor?
is there a tandem situation? Because that might even be tough for me.
A little scary.
Can I ride on a little sidecar?
Yeah. Do you have a basket you could put me in? A big, like an adult-sized front basket.
That would be fantastic. Thank you. But then they do the bikes. They do the hot air balloon, which again, I'd be off. So terrifying to me. Truly terrifying. A hot air balloon. That's a no.
No way.
A gust of wind. I mean, theirs was a little more solid, but
yeah. The problem with heights is that it's not something you get used to. You know what I'm saying? It's like
it's just pure terror.
You just are sitting there, and it never gets better. It never starts to go away. It's never like, I'm kind of settling up here now. It doesn't. It just the fear keeps building.
It never
so
ends.
if I was up there, it'd be a problem, because I'd be like, dude, we got to get down.
You'd be Evan in a Ferris wheel is rough.
Dude,
Evan has like a full
terrifying.
anxiety attack.
I'll go on a crazy, scary roller coaster, but the Ferris wheel feels too
it's
loose.
That hanging in the air. It's just like a hot air balloon. You would have a full panic
It's
attack.
hanging and then not having like any strap, and you're just kind of like, I could open this thing up or jump out. Oof. No, thank you.
No, that's a no. But they had their hot air balloon. They go to the Hungarian spa house, that huge hot tub. You notice that in post, they had fake steam coming up from that.
Yeah, it was really weird. They put like a steam filter on it.
Yes, it was because it had
So when they
naturally
moved
steam
the
coming out, but like they also added steam.
Yeah, so when they moved the camera, the steam went with it. Like,
it was like,
so
what
weird.
are we getting experimental over here, ABC?
It was like they left on the Snapchat filter. This is the steam Snapchat filter for it.
So strange.
It was so weird.
Well, their whole date seemed to be going really well.
Yeah.
I felt like he seemed like he was super connected with her. I mean, we love Brooklyn. We are big fans of Brooklyn
really
over
like
here.
her, yeah.
I really like Brooklyn. But
She just seems real.
she seems awesome. But like the whole entire time, I thought, wow, they're really vibing.
Yeah.
He's going to take her to hometowns. And then all of a sudden, they have the night portion.
They bathed together.
Yes, they
You
did.
know what I mean? Like, what else could you want?
What else could you want?
That wasn't my vibe. I was a little like, I thought it was cute, but I was also a little bit like,
What wasn't your vibe?
just being in a big bath with a bunch of people. To you were saying that like cold water feels, or like lukewarm and colder feels worse than hot.
If I'm going to be in a giant bath with people, I want it to be boiling hot, because then I feel like it's burning any sort of germ.
See, I feel like it's exfoliating.
Oh, so
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like if I'm in a pool with a bunch of people, I feel a lot more like, okay, we're all kind of cold and cruising. If I'm in heat with a lot of people, I feel like I'm sitting in your exfoliant. Like I'm in your
Understood.
juices. You know what I mean?
I'm just like, everything's burnt off. All those germs are gone, baby.
Into the pool that you are now waiting in. So anyway, that's my personal view. Big? I don't know. Gonna freak me out. Not a big bath guy with a lot of people. Anyway.
Well, but then, okay, so then the whole switch happens though, because then we go into the night portion, and again, we're talking about who Zach would be meeting.
Yeah.
Brooklyn opens up about how strong her mom is, about how he's obviously not going to be meeting her bio dad, but her grandfather
Stepped up and
raised her. It was such an incredible conversation, just hearing about the love from her grandfather. And, they start talking about like then her bringing home someone. And she said that she's not going to bring someone home to her family unless she sees a future with them. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's like, I got to take time away to breathe. And at first I'm like, oh my God, what is he doing? Like there's potential struggle in their relationship and he's out. But I will say when he walked away and he did make a comment and said, if I'm not feeling confident or sure, who am I to be in that house? And I will say I respected that because obviously within Brooklyn opening up about everything in her past, that I did appreciate that Zach was like, okay, if I know that this isn't 100% the person for me, like who am I to be in a house and to put everyone through more when they've already gone through it. And he tells her that he does say that he's like, this entire week there's been a block and he couldn't figure out, which that was weird to me because I felt like they were vibing hard on the date. I didn't see a block from him at all. So that threw me for a loop. I would imagine it threw her for a loop too. But
I didn't see crazy chemistry with them, but I also didn't see like that he had a block up. So it wasn't shocking that it didn't go through, but it was shocking to me that he didn't seem like, he seems to be a guy that really wears his emotions on his sleeves. Like if he doesn't like you, it's obvious, but he didn't seem like that.
Yeah.
So,
well, he said, you deserve the love that I can't give you.
It was heavy.
That was heavy. That's when you were getting emotional.
Yeah, I just felt it because I felt like she's really amazing and she really like went for it and was really awesome. And
as he says about everybody when he breaks up with them, he goes, you're awesome.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's rubbing off on me. But like I just felt like she was great and you can't force chemistry, obviously.
Of course.
But I did feel like she was just great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's a special person.
Yeah, she just has something about her that's really special. So I just felt sad that she was kind of blindsided by that.
Yeah. It was hard. And then when she walked away and she goes, it felt so good to feel so strongly about someone so great. I was like, oh, Brooklyn,
it's like the
was
sweetest thing you
breaking
could have ever
my
said.
heart. I mean, that goodbye was rough.
It was really hard.
And we love Brooklyn
Yeah.
for forever. And I pray she is the queen of paradise. Maybe even first on the sand.
She's fun. I
so
like her
fun.
a lot.
She'd be electric in paradise.
She's fun, but she's warm. You know, I really liked her.
Me too.
She was cool.
Me too. Well, oh my goodness. That's the other thing. Times 2 broke my heart is when the women see her suitcase get rolled away. They all thought for sure that Brooklyn, we heard Charity saying to Kat earlier, like, well, Brooklyn's going to be there. Yeah. So the women, they seem to think that her and Zach had chemistry, you know? But when her suitcase gets rolled away and we see Charity just start bawling, I was like, oh, that hit me in the gut. And then I saw Charity post on Twitter about how losing like her ride or die. She was like, that broke me big time.
Tough. Kat's like, hey, okay.
Kat's like, bye.
Are you sad about
bye.
this? Because I'm really happy she's gone.
Well, then we had the rose ceremony, and long story short, obviously Kaity and Gabby already had roses, and then Ariel gets the first rose in the rose ceremony. I was actually, I was like, I was pretty confident. I'm like, Charity's getting a rose. After what Zach said that he could see her in his future, I feel like Zach's not the type of person who's going to say that if he doesn't mean it at the moment. So I'm like, okay, we got Charity unlocked. Yes. But Ariel came first. Then all of a sudden I was like, what?
Wait a second.
So Ariel and Charity. So we have our top 4, Kaity, Gabby, Ariel, and Charity. And I have to say a fantastic top 4.
Fantastic top 4. Definitely. I feel with Kat that she lost it. It was hers to take.
You think so?
I do. I feel like he
wanted to be a model.
Well, yeah, I just feel like he was really into her early on. And then she started to, you could just tell, get a little in her head. And I think her energy shifted because of it. I think she didn't like this competition. I think she didn't like feeling like that she had to fight for this. So I think she kind of checked out and she started to get in her head about it. And that's when she started making the comments and stuff. But I think if she would have kept the strong energy of like, I want you, let's do this thing from day one without faltering, it would have been happening. Like, it wasn't like, I don't think they just fell apart. I think she got in her head and it kind of the energy changed and he noted that. That's what I felt like.
All right. Well, she's gone.
She's
not in
gone.
our
Crazy.
top
I was
four.
not
expecting
She's
not
gone.
in our
Crazy.
top
I was not
four.
expecting that.
I know. I assumed she was going to be in the top 4. I thought it was going to be Kat, Charity, Kaity, and Gabby.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
I'm loving the top 4.
Yeah.
I am so excited.
I know
for the upcoming episodes. Okay, so next
Hometown
week
Fantasy Suite's going to be
we have the hometown episode on Monday and then the Women Tell All on Tuesday.
Yes.
So just as a heads up, everybody, our episode will not be coming out on Wednesday next week. It'll be coming out on Thursday.
Yes.
Because we have the Monday, Tuesday episode situation. So that will drop Thursday instead of Wednesday. But I'm excited, and I'm so excited for the Fantasy Suites in 2 weeks.
We got some drama coming up. We got some drama coming up.
And I cannot
It's looking
wait.
like, he does the no sex, but maybe a little bit, but also maybe not, but maybe with one person, but then everyone else is tweet. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
I cannot wait.
Drama. Love it.
Should we get into some ick conversation?
It's ick time.
I think it's time to talk about some icks and
Yes.
listen to voicemails about the ick.
Yes.
First, okay. So let me tell you about this crowd research that we've done from the family with the ick definition. This is, I believe, where we have landed on the ick, the scientific definition.
Yeah.
What I have come to observe from many a message is that the ick and icks are 2 very different things.
Right.
So the ick is what most people say you cannot get over. That is when all those little random things they just dig in and you're like, there's no coming back from the ick. Once the ick hits into your system, you cannot recover and that person is a no-go. But icks are very, very different. Icks, maybe you can recover from. They're those things that bug, maybe those unexplainable things like, oh, this person isn't a bad person or doing anything wrong, but they do these things that make me feel like it's like the icks, not the ick.
But the icks develop into the ick, or a single ick can develop into the ick.
Correct.
So this is it's
a slippery
web.
slope. It's a slippery slope.
It's like a virus. You know what I mean?
From most of what I read, the icks tend to develop into the ick, and then the ick, most people say they agree that you're done with for forever. But I will tell you something, everybody. I got a few messages from some of the family who were like, I got over the ick.
Well, let's get into this.
I got over the ick. I got a story about someone who's married. She had the ick for her partner and then ended up getting over it. And now they've been married for a long time. So, I mean, it's kind of just a different definition for everyone. But the overall definition seems to be once you get into the ick territory,
it sticks.
It sticks. The ick sticks. You're not going back.
Once you get the ick sticks. I mean, that's the worst song of all time. Speaking of songs.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So we're going to do our call home segment this week is going to be talking about the family's icks and their stories with the icks. But we had a family member named Abigail Flowers who slid into the DMs and wrote a song for the call home segment. And when I tell you, when Evan and I opened this file and listened to this song, our minds were blown. And this is the most beautiful gift we could ever imagine. It's Abigail Flowers.
Yeah.
Let's hit it.
This is the new song.
This is the new song, baby.
Hit it.
Happy days or sad, you can talk to mom and dad. All you've got to do is pick up the phone. Remember, you can always call home.
Are you joking?
Wow.
Isn't that like insane?
That's magical.
No, it's
I have
Willy
chills
Wonka
all
meets
over my
like
body.
it's so amazing.
Oh my God. That I have chills every time I listen to
I
it.
couldn't believe it. Jess was like,
Couldn't
"You
believe
God,
it.
I hear this," and I mean, let's be real. Someone sends in a song. It's like it's such a flattering, amazing thing. But you just never know what
You
you're
never
gonna
know.
get.
You
know
never
what I mean?
know.
Yeah.
It blew my mind.
Blew
That
our
song is
minds.
amazing.
Yeah.
Abigail
And
Flowers.
she also sent like a shorter one too. We can use as like a quicker one. It's like she's amazing.
Incredible. So Abigail Flowers, I'm going to put her info in the episode notes. Listen to her spot. Her songs are amazing on
Really
Spotify.
talented.
Incredible artist. And Abigail also let me know that she is putting out a lullaby version of LOVE on Friday. So Check out our Spotify.
Check it out.
Follow. We love.
Huge
Thank
fan.
you. Thank
wow,
you.
Thank you so much. Wow. All right, you ready to get into this?
Let's listen to some ick stories from the family. I'm excited.
All right.
So I met a guy between my junior and senior year of college. This was during the summertime at a bar. He asked me on a date. We started dating. End of the summertime, we started doing long distance. We did long distance for 2 years. I started working full time. He was finishing his senior year of college at that point in time. So I'm working, he's doing school, I'm in sales, miserable, and we're in different places in life. He comes to visit me after work one time at a happy hour, shows up at the restaurant. I see him and I got the ick. Fully got the ick.
2 years.
About a week or two later, I broke up with him. He did not accept my breakup speech. He made me give him one more chance. And so I did. Next day, the world shut down due to COVID. Fast forward to 6 months later, I am quarantined with my family. He is living where I had been living while we were doing long distance. So I moved back in with him and his roommate and gave it a real last ditch effort at that point in time. We lived together for 8 months, me, him, and his roommate. And our relationship actually took a turn for the better. So much so that he proposed, we got married. 2 years later, here we are now about to celebrate our 1 year anniversary. We actually overcame the ick. That's my story. The ick is do or die, but you can overcome it.
All you need is a dash of a pandemic. And you too could overcome the ick.
I am actually flabbergasted because that story just took 12 turns. I thought I was like,
Right.
I'm already bewildered that after two-ish plus years, you're like, oh my God, the ick set in then. I'm like, that feels like worst case scenario. You've already given, a lot of your time to this person and then the ick hits. And then you move in.
With roommate.
And you overcome the ick?
I mean, you give me the ick and then you add roommate in there.
Oh my God.
Dude,
no.
I'm gone. Like roommate and ick equals lose my mind.
The gentleman that I got the severe ick for, that was in college, and he had roommates. And let me tell you, God bless the roommates. They were lovely people. But once I got the ick for him, I got the sub ick for the roommates, and they all started bugging me, even though they weren't doing anything. They were all really nice people. But the ick started to just, like you said, it's a virus. It was then going into everyone that I ever knew that this man ever had even met. And somehow, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is why the ick needs to be researched. They need to do research and development on the ick, because what is this?
Yeah. Fascinating.
Fascinating.
You can push through the ick. You can come out to the other side.
If you know that you can overcome the ick, you know that your relationship can really conquer anything. So God bless.
Well, it was interesting too. She didn't say like he was doing stuff that bothered her. She said she got the full blown ick and was done. And then he, in very Seinfeld-esque fashion, said, "Nope, we're not breaking up."
We're not broken up.
Like remember when George's like girlfriend's like, he's like, "We're done." She's like, "Nope, I don't accept that." That's what he did to her. He said, "I don't accept that." And then she's like, "Okay, I guess we're still dating then." Fast forward, it worked out. Wow. I mean, there's a lot of, this is a case study for the ages.
Wow. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Well, congratulations on defeating the ick.
You defeated the ick. God bless. Your relationship can really conquer anything.
Well, what's beautiful too is now going forward that you can get the ick again and know you can push past it.
That's true. Maybe some people are able to push past the ick and some people are not.
You guys are the ick busters.
Ick busters, baby.
Okay.
All right, let's listen to the next one.
Hi, Mom and Dad. I've got an ick story to share with you guys. So this takes place, I was a freshman in college, dating a guy a few years older than me. We were pretty serious, all was going well, up until one day we went and had ice cream. And I guess after that, he determined that he was lactose intolerant and spent the rest of the evening on the toilet.
Farting in the towels?
Fine, whatever. I go to Walgreens to buy him medicine, and I get a call from his mom telling me what kind of medication her 24-year-old son needs for his diarrhea.
No.
All of that was nasty. I left. I was grossed out. I did not have the ick yet. Until the next day, I walk into his house, and he is laying on the couch with a wet rag covering his eyes. Keep in mind, he was never vomiting. He didn't have a fever. This was only because of diarrhea the previous day that he was laying on the couch with a wet rag draped across his forehead. And I broke up with him a few weeks after that, and I have not talked to him since. Thanks, guys. Bye.
It's great.
Oh my God.
Wait, how long did they say they were together? Or like, what was the situation? Do you remember hearing that?
It had been a couple weeks, I think.
Couple weeks. So my favorite move about all this is, first of all, like, not realizing that, like, when you eat this thing, you're going to be like explosive, right? Like, you got to be okay with like if you're mildly lactose, then you just go, I'll have a bit of a stomach ache, but it's not a big deal. But if you're like brutally lactose, you don't just go for it. Okay?
No.
Second of all, my favorite thing he did was that he called his mom.
That's a wild
and then
move.
gave his mom her number.
No, see, that's a wild move, because in the
Mom, she doesn't know what I want. So call her and make sure.
She's going to go to CVS and she's going to get the wrong one. It's going to be the wrong one. No, that's what would be the capper for me, is that it's one thing, like, listen, you got to get your special medicine. You call your mom, you ask, what's that special medicine that I got? And then you text her and say, hey, can you make sure to get this?
Yes.
But the fact that you gave her number to your mom and had your mom call, that I'd be like, listen, my guy, like, I mean, what's going to happen when you get the stomach bug? Oh my God.
So basically we support your ick.
Yeah,
I mean,
support the ick. No.
We got the ick from here.
No, I'd just be like, if this is how you are and you decided to have ice cream even though you're lactose, then if you get the stomach bug, then I guess I have to just drop out of work for a week. Like, I don't know. And then your mom's going to be calling me 24/7 telling me that I'm doing everything wrong when I'm trying to be supportive.
Lee, how do you handle sickness?
That's a good question.
Like, are you we're batting down the hatches,
riding it out,
or riding?
Usually,
Okay.
I resist medicine usually
until
it's like really bad.
Do you go in a cave and are you alone, or are you like, hey, I need moral support?
Oh, definitely in a cave.
Got it.
Cave. Yeah.
Yeah, when people do the sickness thing and it's like all hands on deck. When someone gets sick, I have a cold, so now all my friends, my girlfriend has to take care of me. And if you don't take care of me, then I'm going to judge you for the rest of my life, kind of thing. Like, that's an interesting thing.
That's a big tell in a relationship. Some people can be that backbone for someone who needs that type of care when they have a cold. But then if you can't handle that, or that's not your vibe.
Because you don't do it the way my mom did it.
Yeah, that would be rough for me. That would be rough for me. I'm like, please don't compare me and your mom while you're ill. Like, I'm going to do my best and be there for you, but
I like that he had the towel on his eyes because he was diarrhea.
Yeah.
He's just like, something to help this tragedy. All right, next. That's amazing.
Oh my God.
Hi, Mom and Dad. I love you guys so much. Mm-hmm. So first of all, I totally agree with your definition of the ick. Second of all, here's my ick story. So I was seeing this guy for a while. We had great chemistry, great conversation. We actually went out on a lot of dates before we even crossed any kind of physical line. Well, when we finally did sleep together, as soon as we were done, he asked me where he ranked amongst my other sexual partners, which already was an ick.
My God.
And he was fine, but nothing to write home about. I did fake an orgasm during our encounter. So I just lied and was like, yeah, you're like at the top, I guess, like close to the top or whatever.
What are you supposed to say?
And he did this like disgusting thing where he flexed his muscles and did this little dance thing. And I have never been more repulsed by a human being in my entire life. And after that, I just had to slowly fade away from this man. He kept asking me what was wrong, kept saying like, is everything okay? And I did not know what to say. I didn't tell him, but it disgusted me so bad that I could never go back. Which is so crazy because before that, I liked him so much.
No.
But yeah, once the ick hits, it's done. It's just gone.
Oh my God. Oh my God. He's just he's like, how could you fade away? I gave you the best sex of your life, babe. Just flexing.
My favorite is he goes, so how is that compared to like any of your other guys? And she goes, I guess pretty good. Like, I guess towards the top, I guess. And he just goes like, she said he did a flex and a little dance.
Yeah. He's like top 10.
Yeah. So he went like this. He's like, you like he flexed his pecs and then went like, yeah.
That is.
I picture him in his tidy whities, like his little white underwear on the bed, just going like,
just
and
full
like
Tom
flexing
Cruise.
and being like,
yeah.
I knew I was a beast.
Straight up, that is an immediate ick. I'm out. Like there's no questions asked. Like she said,
conquered another one, another world. They call me Alexander the Great.
The survey.
I mean, I don't care. I'm fully on board with this family member saying that like this guy was super into him. If I was into somebody and it was like, oh my God, I really like this person. Our dates have been amazing. And the first time we're fucking intimate, I mean, honestly, ever, unless it's a joke, unless one day, years from after being together for, you know, however many intimate encounters, hundreds of intimate encounters, then as a joke, you ask me, so what for real is my ranking? Then we can laugh, we can play. But our first encounter or within the first few years, you ask me to put you in a rating system of where you land. I would be so gooped and gagged, the level of which I would not know. I just feel like you got to leave. Like you got to get out of here.
Incredible.
Unbelievable.
Obviously, we support the ick. No, this isn't even about supporting or not, but yes, I have the ick as well, thinking about this. It's just the fact that he took a survey and then when you lied to him, because here's the thing. You know if you did okay or not. Like there's a general vibe of like, I think that was pretty awesome, that was a tough one.
I think,
and I think if you're asking,
I think you'd be surprised. I think a lot of specifically gentlemen are lacking the self-awareness and connection to know.
Clearly this guy is lacking quite a bit.
I mean, to blatantly ask.
God, I'm a huge fan. This is hilarious. The fact that he did a flex and then a dance is just legendary. I mean, that is just unbelievable.
That's unbelievable. Oh my God.
I'm sorry you had to go through that.
I'm so sorry you had to experience that.
And she said I liked him so much before that too.
I know. Devastating. But you know what?
You never know.
You saw all you needed to see.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable. Next.
All right, next.
Hi, Mom and Dad. We are talking icks, and I have an ick for you. So my ex-boyfriend, I was obsessed with this man. I thought he was beautiful and funny and just wonderful. Like I was convinced I was going to marry him. And then one day I noticed when he drinks water, it's like he drinks water like a toddler would drink water, or like specifically a sick toddler with like a stuffy nose. And I feel like as parents, you can, you know this sound.
I know exactly.
It's very specific. And it was so like immediately just took everything out of me. And every time we were eating together or he would drink water near me, it killed me inside and I couldn't handle it. And the funny thing is, my husband that I'm married to now, he does the same exact thing, but somehow with him, it does not bother me. It bothered me so much with my ex-boyfriend, but with my husband, it doesn't bother me. So I really do think icks are about the person and not about the actual ick itself. So thanks, guys. Love you.
Okay, so love you too. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is what I have felt in my bones myself, is that I remember with specific exes when I would feel the ick, and I'd think about if you did it, like I said in the last episode, it would maybe annoy me,
right?
But I wouldn't feel that tremor, that shiver through my body that just made me feel ill, because that's a perfect example of it. Like she was saying, this gentleman was super hot, super funny, and she was so into him. And then all of a sudden, the way that he drank water was just like, I can't do it anymore. I believe it's literally your body's response being like, nope, nope, nope. Like everything's good. And then the way that you drink water, that's what sends me into the ick territory. It wasn't like, oh, your behavior leading up to that. It was like the water. That's your body being like, no. That's what I believe. Your body's just like giving you all these flags and going like, no. This is the pheromones don't line up. They're not for you. Move on. And then the fact that her husband does the same exact thing. That's what I'm talking about.
It's really interesting. It's almost like there's two things at work here, which is just general attraction and then pure chemistry, like actual chemistry.
Yes.
And it seems like with the flexi sex guy and the drinky water guy, there's like, I like him a lot. He's cool. He's hot. He's funny. He's all the boxes are ticked, but there's not like a pure connection.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then it's almost like the icks are what signals whether you have a pure connection or not. Like, obviously it's not the rule, but like there's something really interesting about her saying like, imagine meeting someone and they just drink water a little weird, but like it's so gross to you that like you can't be with them.
Yeah.
Right? It's clearly like an underlying symptom. It's a symptom of an underlying cause that says there's a lot more underneath the surface you're not going to like.
1,000%.
But then someone else can do that same thing, but it doesn't, because it's just a small symptom.
Yeah.
You don't have the virus. There's just a little symptom.
Yeah.
Because I think about when you and I first started dating, there were numerous things that I could pinpoint that I could be like, if it was another guy, it would bug me.
Right.
Like when we'd be out with friends in the middle of like a full, there's like 12
like
of us.
Too good at sex. Like I like regular sex, too good at
It's just
sex.
too good. No, we'd be out with like a group of 12 friends all chatting. And Evan used to get so tired in the middle of the day because, God bless, you were so busy. You were working and athletics and all that. But we'd be in the middle of a conversation with friends. And without fail, whenever we were talking with friends at a table, Evan would put his head directly on the table, full fall asleep every time. Just like completely pass out.
Well, it was like
head on the table every time our friends would be hanging out together. And if you weren't like my guy, I would have been like, you guys, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I just would have been like icked out. I'd be like, you guys, I'm so sorry. I know we're all here to hang out, and he falls asleep every time with his face directly on the table, hands behind your back. Like not even hands on the
Just
table
out.
resting, hands behind your back, face flat on the table like this. That's a wild thing, but it didn't.
Better friends. Don't put me to sleep.
Your friends were entertaining.
Hey, if you had better friends, wouldn't be a problem. No. It was just like, working and sports and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you're all of a sudden you're sitting in the dark at like a restaurant. And you're just like,
Just
when
pass out at a restaurant. But that would,
yes.
but
No,
that would have given me the
bugged
ick.
me if hearing that about myself. That bugs me.
But it really didn't bother me.
Right.
I would kind of laugh. I thought it was kind of funny. I was like, oh, there he goes. He's passing out again because he's doing so much. Do you want to know what gave me the moment that gave me the beginning of the first ick with my ex-boyfriend who I was dating in between our breakup and getting back together? I was in his room and we were sitting on his bed, and at the time I did not like country music. Now I've become more of a fan. But he's like, can I play a song for you that makes me think about you?
Oh, jeez.
And let me say something about this man. You've seen him. Very good looking guy. Like handsome.
Oh, it's that one.
Yeah.
Oh. He's not the musical one.
No.
Oh. Listen, if you don't do music, or you're not like
No, he was turning a song on.
Oh, thank God. Okay, I thought he was like performing.
Oh, like
well, but it did become that. It did become that. But
he was singing along with it.
You know who this gentleman is. But what I'm saying is he was
breeze.
You know that he was a very good looking guy.
Yeah.
He's a smart guy, nice guy.
Right.
And it was all okay. I wasn't like sold out by any means, but it was all okay. And then he's like, can I play this song for you that makes me think of you? And he turned it on, and it was a country song.
Come to never He's like, dude.
And he's like, let me turn this song on for you. And first of all, it's a country song, which I'm like, okay, you haven't been listening to me. You know that I don't like country. But I wouldn't have even, I'm not that particular. But I'm like, okay, so it's a country song. He turns it on, and he turns around, and he looks me directly in the eyes and starts singing it at me.
That's what you do to me.
I do that to you all the
Torturous.
time.
It's
I love
horrible.
serenading Evan because I know that it drives him crazy. But he looked me in the eyes and he sang at me.
Oof.
And
In
let
like a
me
serious way.
and let me not. This is no exaggeration. The first word to the last word of the song. This was a 4-minute long country song, and he sang it at me in the eyes, and I did not know what to do. I was sweating. I was panicking. The ick was running through my body like crazy. After that, everything about him gave me the ick.
That is.
And he was just trying to be romantic
so
with me.
Violating.
But I always talk about it on the podcast for years. I've been like, don't serenade. Because there was that moment where I'm like, I was serenaded by someone who the ick just hit, and it was just game over. Game over.
Oh, the whole "let me play you a song" thing is like
you're just
dangerous.
You're just captive. You were captive for 4
you
weeks.
truly are.
You were held captive.
You're like, what am I supposed to do right now? If I look away, is that rude? I want to
Also,
start
just way too
laughing,
long.
but then that would hurt your feelings. And again, it wasn't a line. It was first lyric to last. 4 minutes. It felt like my entire college existence in that 4 minutes.
If you want to go down that road, you text someone when they're not with you. Say, I listened to the song today. I thought about you. Like,
yeah, and you
that's
send
what
the
you do,
song.
so that
That's
they can listen to it.
romantic.
But you don't sit there and look at me. Do you like it? Because like, what if you don't like it? Then it's awkward as shit. And even if you do like it, it's like 20 seconds is max.
It was also very like we had gone out on a couple dates. It was
just
very
like, "You're my
bachelor.
wife."
It was bachelor expedited. Yes, and it was
Yeah.
very much like you're my wife. And I'm like,
we
this
got
is
6
really
kids
quick.
and a ranch together, and you're just like, okay, wow.
I didn't know we were married and had 3 dogs and 5 babies together.
Yeah.
Oh, that was that moment of the ick for me.
Want to do one more?
Let's do one more.
Hey Jess. Hey Evan. Love you too.
Love you.
Okay, so I was just listening to your episode about the ick, and I 100% Jess agree with your like whole take on the ick. Okay, so I was sort of dating this guy. We probably went on, I don't know, we met on like Bumble, went on 2 or 3 dates. By our like 3rd or 4th date, we were getting drinks and appetizers, and we had chips and guacamole.
Okay.
He picks up like the bowl of guacamole that was like, you know, in the middle of the table, and just starts like holding it by his chest and like taking the chips and just like dipping a chip into it, taking it to his
Like
mouth, grabbing a chip. You know what I mean? Just like over and over again while like talking to me. And that night he like went in to kiss me goodnight, and I was like, I'm sorry, like I don't think this is gonna work. So that's sort of my one example of the ick.
That
Poor
is a
guy
10.
was just an engineer. You know what I mean? He was just like, what's more efficient? You know what I mean? Let me eat like a bowl of cereal.
You know what's so funny?
That's such a wild move,
It
dude.
was such a wild move to pick it up and just be. And also, then you're not sharing with your date. Like it's a communal guacamole bowl, and you're just
I
like,
ordered it. If you wanted some, you could have ordered some.
You should ask for 2.
You should ask for 2. Clearly, I wanted one. I didn't say for the table. I just said, can I get the guacamole? I said I, not us.
That is so. This is the thing about the icks. The thing about the icks that I love so much is they're so specific, but like you feel the universal feeling. Like you feel that universal ick. Like if you like the person, if they were to do the guacamole thing, you'd be like, that was weird, then you'd forget about it. But we all feel the guacamole bowl. We all feel that.
Oh my God. It's such a red flag, even though it's not. You know what I mean? It's such like on paper, it's nothing.
But it tells a whole story. It's a whole book about somebody.
It tells a whole story that goes,
What
you've
is
lived
that?
your okay, I think I know what it is.
Okay.
At least from our listeners to these boys.
Yeah.
Is what I'm picking up on is that it's a self-awareness problem.
Yeah, sure.
Is that grabbing the bowl that's communal and eating it like this? That's a self-awareness problem.
Yeah.
Flexing and going like, I just pounded that ass.
That's got a lot of layers to it.
But is a self-awareness problem. Because he's going, was I good? Was it not good? Oh, you said I'm good. Therefore, I can do this awkward thing. Rank me. It's a self-awareness problem. The drinking in a slurping way to not like listen to the way you're drinking and be like, this is kind of maybe obnoxious or kind of strange. Self-awareness. Yeah. So I'm not saying it's wrong or right or these people shouldn't act like this. It's more like the person experiencing the ick, I think, is getting told through their behavior, this person doesn't have self-awareness.
Yeah.
And I think I can't trust that. Because if they don't have enough self-awareness to realize this is awkward.
What about when we get to real problems?
What about when life becomes, you know what I mean? So I think it has a lot to do with like, I can't trust this person.
Interesting.
Yeah, what could be more like less self-aware than like eating a bunch of ice cream when you're lactose intolerant?
That's what I'm saying. And then shitting yourself and then be sitting there with like iPads on where you didn't even, nothing about the eyes are a problem. And then calling your mom, right? To tell your girl that it's not even your girlfriend, but that you're just dating to go get the right stuff for him.
Yeah.
That's so unself-aware. That it's just like this. There, you're going. Wait,
yeah, I can't trust you.
And then I heard another one that was like, she's like, I went on this date with this guy, and he just had the most insane chapped lips. Like his lips were just like crackled, and she's like, and I was like staring at them. They were so chapped. It was like a dry desert. So then I offered him some chapstick, and he turned it down. Right? Self-awareness.
Yeah.
Right? There's nothing wrong with chapped lips. But if you ran out,
happens.
it happens. But if she offers it, you go, oh my God, thank God, I'm so sorry. But you just go, no, I'm good.
It's like when Ember comes up to me in the morning and goes, do you want some gum, Mom? And I'm like, my breath's bad.
Right.
Thank you.
And if you say no,
I better go double brush.
She goes, I got the ick about my mom right now. So it's interesting how there's this like, it's a self-awareness thing that says like, I can't trust you. Because you are missing these like, I just think it's like, I can't trust you. I don't know if our future will align because when there's a life or death situation and you can't even get the guacamole right. You know, am I going to be able to trust my?
Are we going to be in a life or death situation? Or are you going to look deep into my eyes and sing a whole song when I'm like, the buildings are burning behind us? Like this is not.
Exactly.
Are you going to figure this out?
There's something weird about it.
I mean,
that's hilarious though.
But that's what I'm telling you. Like exactly what you're saying. It's like your body is letting you know. It's like this subconscious feeling that your body goes, hello, this is going to be a no for you. Like, don't go there. But then again, we had our first one where you push through and it's a happy relationship. So I sure don't know. This is what I'd like to know from our very first caller. I want to know what the ick was that you felt with your now partner again. Like, was it specific, like, he eats the guacamole weird, or was it like, oh, he's not showing up? Was it things that were like bothering you in the relationship and then that led to feeling the ick, or was it, I'm very curious. I feel like that would be very telling to know exactly what that person did to give that family member the ick.
Well, thanks for submitting that stuff, you guys. We got so many. I feel like we could do it every week for like the next year. It was like,
I mean, honestly, maybe
awesome.
we'll throw them in sometimes because these ick stories really tickle me.
They're so funny.
They really tickle me.
Gosh, the guacamole one killed me because I just was picturing it. I picture her on a date. Everything's going amazing. She's gorgeous. She's perfect. And all of a sudden she just grabs the bowl and starts doing this and just like totally, and just won't stop talking and eating the guacamole from her chest. I would just be like, oh no, I don't know you. Everything that we don't agree on anything anymore.
Oh God.
Oh, it's so funny.
Well, we love you, family. Thank you for sending those in. This will be an ongoing conversation because honestly, it has no beginning and no end. The ick is forever, and we have so many questions forever about it.
And it's rampant.
It is rampant, and it remains a mystery to us all, truly. So we love you all. Tune in next week. Again, that will be out Thursday, not Wednesday. We'll be going over hometowns and Women Tell All. Hopefully that is spicy. We shall see. And we love you all.
Love you guys. Have a great week.
Have a great week. We love you. Evan's got to get back to playing Zelda. So
yep.
We'll see y'all. We'll see y'all soon.
Z-heads unite. Bye.
Bye.